attend shows like these. So from the bottom of all of our hearts at VHB events, thank you all so much. Without further ado, it is my sincere honor to welcome our next guest. He is a global, recommended, and incredible performer. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one, the only actor, author, and philanthropist, Armin Shimmerman.
How are we doing today, Armin?
I'm doing fine. I'm just having a great time. People have been really nice and coming up to the booth and telling me lots of things about themselves, which is fascinating. Anyway, you have some questions.
Well, is this your first time in Missouri?
No. About 4 or 5 years ago, I worked in a theater in Kansas City. In Overland Park. That, I believe, was in Kansas. However, I lived in Missouri. But if you ever get a chance, do go to the new theater and restaurant in Overland Park. It was phenomenal. Great show.
So we're here, Armin, to talk about a number of things, but I'd like to first have this conversation. Talk to us a little bit about a book series you wrote, Illyria.
Thank you. Yes, that's why I'm here, actually. Here, one of the reasons I'm not sitting with the other actors, people go, why are you over here? It's because I'm an author. And I'm with John Master Press. I left my hat back at the booth. And I wrote a series of books, which are called Illyria. Thank you. I am, besides being an actor, I'm also a Shakespeare professor. I taught at the University of Southern California. And they say to writers, you should write what you know about. So I wrote about Shakespeare and a wonderful historical character named John Dee, who was fascinating to me. So my books are about, it's a historical mystery, and they deal with Shakespeare's times and with a problem that was happening in Europe at the time, but certainly in England, which was Protestantism was about 150 years old at that moment. Luther had put up his theses on the church 150 years before, but there was great conflict in Europe about conflict between Protestantism and Catholicism. England at that time was a Protestant country, but most of the people in it at one time had been Catholics. So there's a reason, prior to Elizabeth's time, Queen Elizabeth's time, her half-sister was Mary Tudor. She's often called Bloody Mary, and she's called Bloody Mary because she killed off a lot of Protestants. And Elizabeth could probably be called Bloody Elizabeth because she killed off almost as many Catholics. So my books are about the tension between that was happening in the country because of that. When Elizabeth was queen, Catholics couldn't have Mass. They weren't allowed to celebrate Mass. And so they used to smuggle priests into England so that Catholics could celebrate Mass. And that's sort of the underlying thing of the book.
So if people are interested in want to either learn more or even purchase one, can they do so at your booth?
That's why I'm here this week.
So folks, this show is not just for you guys. You guys do get to be a part of it. Throughout this Q&A, since we're in an intimate gathering here in this panel room, if you want to just raise your hand, I'd be more than happy to call on you. Sir, you got it. What is your name?
Yeah, my name's Eric, and I'm from Joplin, Missouri.
Hey, Eric.
And we actually met 15 years ago, about a few weeks after the Joplin tornado.
Oh, I remember they're taking me out.
Yes, and you actually went out of your way to talk to me and offer your thoughts and prayers for me and everybody in Joplin. And I just wanted to tell you thank you for that. It meant so much to me.
Well, thank you. It was devastating. They took me out to where the tornado had just hit. And literally, ladies and gentlemen, on one side of the street, the house was perfectly intact. And across the street, just across the street, their neighbor was totally, the house was totally gone. It was a devastating thing to look at.
my house was about a mile away from the hospital, and we talked about that. And so, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you survived.
Yeah. I'll be real, I'm still there.
Okay, good.
Yes, what is your name?
I'm Dawn, and PhD assignment here.
Thank you.
So the question is, could you share a fun memory from Buffy?
Just doing Buffy is a fun memory. Understand that when I was hired for Deep Space Nine, I had a contract from Paramount. It said you can only do one guest star per year on a different show. And they hired me to play Principal Snyder, and I said to them, you know, I have a day job. And they said, that's okay, we're going to kill off principals on a regular basis. And at the end of the season, I assumed that they were going to kill me off, and they didn't. And then when I came back the next season, and I looked at the end of that season, and flipped to the back of the script to see how I died. I didn't die in that season. But they finally killed me off in my third season. And then on the fourth season, after I was dead, I got a call from the agent saying, Armin, they have an episode of Buffy for you. I said, Buffy, I'm dead. I'm gone. And it turned out that episode was one of the best ones I ever shot. I was very happy. But fun things, I will tell you, very quickly. When I was hired for Buffy, they told me Sarah Michelle Gellar was a 19-year-old soap opera actress. And unfortunately, because I'm from the theater, I sort of looked down on 19-year-old soap opera actors. And so that's where Snyder comes from. It's sort of looking down on the students. And I got to know Sarah. I watched her perform about 4 or 5 episodes, and I realized this is an extraordinary actress. This is an extraordinary actress. And I went to her trailer and knocked on her door. She had not spoken to me really, except as giving lines back and forth in scenes. And I knocked on her door, and she opened the door, and she looked at me rather startled, and she said yes. And I said, Sarah, I told her what I originally thought, and I told her how much I admired her work, and we became great friends.
So you all the way in the back.
With
Yes.
what does your shirt say?
Quarks Bar.
That's right.
What's your name, bro?
My name's Douglas.
Hey,
My
Douglas.
question is, what was your favorite episode of Deep Space Nine?
My favorite episode, and I would venture to say all of my compatriots on Deep Space Nine would agree with me. Our favorite is called Far Beyond the Stars. And it's not because we got out of makeup. Star Trek at its best, in my opinion, is when it deals with social issues. And that particular episode deals with racism in America. And we were very proud of that episode. We got to delve into really wonderfully ugly things. And we were very proud of the work. And Mr. Brooks, we all called him Mr. Brooks. Nobody called him Avery. And he called me Mr. Shimmerman, so it was a two-way street. Mr. Brooks just directed that episode phenomenally, and we were very proud. So that's our favorite. That's mine. There were ones I had more fun on, certainly, but that's my favorite because of what it says.
Yes, sir. What is your name?
Me?
Yeah.
If I can film, that's all right. If that's all right. Okay, are you guys? You know Galaxy Quest, the movie that's sort of a homage to Star Trek.
Yes.
In that film, Tim Allen overhears some people bad-mouthing like this sort of thing, fan conventions, and you're a bunch of has-beens and all this stuff. Clearly, you're living your best life, professor, etc. But have you ever had that moment where you overhear some toxicity about fans or your own career and has-been this or whatever? And if you have, how did you deal with that? What would you suggest for people who go through that?
I have on occasion heard that. So, people often say, so you do those conventions? That's the tone of voice that I hear. And I tell them, yes, I do. And as I said to you at the very top when I stood up, I hear stories about people's lives that are fascinating. And that's what I like most about the conventions. I certainly like making money, that's good too. And selling books. But really hearing people's lives, and sometimes hearing on the various programs that I've had the honor to perform in, how that sort of changed people or got people through really hard times. That to me is really incredible. And when I hear bad things, I'm an actor. I've gotten bad reviews at times. I've gotten good reviews at times. You know, you just wash it off. You try to do the best work you can. For some people it works, for some it doesn't. I will apologize right now for a piece of work that I really didn't do very well, and I spent 7 years trying to correct, and that was the original Ferengi and Next Generation. That really stank.
What a comeback. What a comeback.
What?
What a comeback.
That's what 7 years was for, was to try to eradicate that out of people's minds.
So another yes. What is your name?
Sonia,
Hey, Sonia.
I want to know what Shakespearean character you would equate Quark to.
You know, I've been asked that question several times, and the obvious answer is Shylock, but I don't do that. I don't think of him as Shylock. And I don't really have an answer. So, Sonia, it's a very good question, and I've been asked it several times, and I should come up with an answer. But I don't have one. Usually people will also ask me, what's your favorite Shakespearean character that you played? Because at this point, I've played in half the canon. There are 37 plays in the canon. I've done at least 18 of them, sometimes many times over. And